Hi, and welcome to SEO Hangouts with Josh Bachynski. I'm Josh Bachynski, and I'm doing this SEO Hangout today. Normally, I would be doing a White Hat versus Black Hat SEO podcast, but I also do SEO Hangouts. If you look, historically been watching me, if you've been seeing what I've been doing in the past, I did a lot of Hangouts. We're in the lazy days of summer 2017. There's nobody around to do a debate with. I can have a debate with myself. Trust me. I can argue. I can argue with the TV till the cows come home, which essentially arguing with myself. But there's no one around to do any Hangouts today. Everyone's gone to Whole Foods or wherever they are. So that's fine. Today I'm going to have an open Hangout. If you want to join and ask me questions, you can join. If you're watching this on YouTube, the Hangout URL to join is in the chat. Go ahead and join and ask me questions if you want. So I'll get to your SEO questions and to your site clinic questions after that. If you want me to do a site clinic, post your site there. Ask me what you're wondering about or what you think is important, and I'll check some things out and I'll look at some stuff. And kind of at the same time, I'm going to kind of show you what I'll be doing in the future. Now, today I was supposed to have Holly on, who's a industrial strength black hat, who you know, and she was going to cover some of the stuff she was doing at this conference we have coming up. At the end of August, we have a conference coming up called White Hat versus Black Hat. SEO Symposium 2017 is supposed to pit white hats versus black hats on a common topic like links or content or whatever it is. And the white hat will give his or her spiel about what they would do for that. And then the black hat will give his or her spiel about what they would do for that. And then you compare and contrast and see which one is better. We still have plenty of seats open. You can check out the website. It's in the description. It's whitehatversusblackhatconference.com. Please go ahead and check it out and see if you want to come down to this. Now, I'm not going to talk about it too long, but I did promise, and I know at least one person did respond on Twitter that they honestly want to hear what's going to go on there. So very quickly, I'm going to go over just what we're going to cover in the conference, what you could expect from that kind of a thing. Then I have some amazing, mind-blowing John Mueller leaks for you. John Mueller is a Google employee, for those you don't know, and he does a regular podcast. And on his podcast, he talked about some changes that are coming from Google that are just insane. Like today, an insane change came out that they're no longer doing instant search on Google Desktop. The type-in search, apparently they're no longer doing it. So that's one crazy change that's happened, and there was a bunch more crazy changes. You need to stay around and listen for that. And then afterwards, I'll open it up, and anyone who wants to join and ask SEO questions, by all means, you can join. While I'm going through this stuff, you guys, if you join, just don't mind muting yourself, and I'll get to your questions afterwards. Or ask your questions in the chat, which is on YouTube is in the top right-hand side. And I'll answer your SEO questions, and I can even do some SEO diagnosis for you kind of on the fly. So it's kind of a free-for-all day. Oh, I do have a black hat here. His name is Clint Butler. Hi, Clint. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's my audio? Is there a lot of buzzing in the background?
Nope, don't hear anything. Sounds good.
Pretty good? Okay, fantastic. Because I have the air conditioner on because it's stupidly hot here. How is it in your neck of the woods today?
82 right now, so it's not too bad.
I don't understand 82s. You have to put it in centigrades for me.
I don't know how to do that math. I'm American. Come on.
It's a million degrees centigrade. It's as hot as the sun. Okay, so thanks for joining, Clint, very much. So as I was just mentioning before, Clint, before you showed up, I'm going to very quickly go through what because somebody actually asked, so I'm going to go through quickly what we're covering at this conference that I have coming up. Then I'm going to go through some John Mueller leaks that I have. Some really crazy John Mueller leaks came up, and we can talk about that. And then I was going to open it up for anyone to join for some SEO questions. So that's what I'm going to do today. Sound good?
Sweet. That'd be awesome.
All right. Thanks, Clint. So I'm going to share my screen here. And again, guys, very quickly, so I'm not spending too much time on it. I am going to talk about what we are going to cover at the conference. So you should be seeing the conference page here. Yes?
Yep.
Fantastic. Okay. So here's the presenters. Again, very quickly, here's what I'm going to cover. I am going to give a bit of I'm mostly hosting the thing, and I'm going to give a bit of a kind of a general overview of SEO, but I'm mostly hosting and going to jump into people's presentations, kind of like this podcast. But I am going to talk about some of my SEO food, just some kind of basic moves you should know if you want to be an SEO, some basic tricks. Some people know them, some people don't. Some of them are basic, some of them are a little bit more advanced. I'll probably share those at this conference, and I might go over them a little bit later today. Holly is going to show us some crazy stuff. She is going to give us actual live examples of her clickbaiting and clickjacking. You'll receive the exact working templates she uses, and she is making consistently a good amount of money doing this stuff. So you don't want to miss that event. E-Rock is going to be sharing 3 things. He's got 3 Google hacks. He's got a map hack, he's got a Facebook hack, and he's got an auto-suggest hack. I don't know if the auto-suggest hack is still going to work now that I think they turned that off. But he's still got some map hack and a good map hack and some Facebook hacks. He's going to be arguing for the Black Hat side. His name is Eric, otherwise known as E-Rock. Ted, you guys know, he's going to be showing us some even more crazy examples of his software. His software is off the rails. I don't know, Clint, I know you can talk about his software quite a bit because you're into Cora quite a bit. It is really getting more and more powerful. He's included Bing now in kind of a beta version. Do you know if he released Bora for, totally there, Clint?
Not yet. We're refining the menus and the look of that. I think he doesn't have much left to go, though.
Right, yeah, but it's coming out, and he's showing some really interesting correlations to rank in Bing as well. I'm going to be talking about ranking in Bing today later on, and that's very important. So again, it's a really great source of traffic, so not to be forgotten about. So you're not going to believe, if you've never seen Ted present before, you're not going to believe your eyes. He can, in like a minute, he can tell you what all the ranking factors are in your niche and what you are not taking advantage of and what you need to take advantage of. Another special Black Hat guest here, Chad, he's going to show you his mass page technique. He's got an automatic mass page technique. Have you ever wanted to rank in every town in your area, or every like little borough in your area? Or have you ever wanted to rank hundreds of thousands of pages for hundreds of thousands of searches automatically? Well, I said this is Black Hat. He's presenting for the Black Hat side, and he's going to show you how to do that automatically and easily with a featured snippet hack, as well as his unique FAQ content hack. So again, you guys don't want to miss that. It could literally change your game. Gareth is a nice white hat. He's presenting for the white hat side. He's going to show you how to get tons of links the white hat way. Guaranteed guilt-free. I should have like that blink in the blink tag or something. Guaranteed guilt-free. Derek is another great white hat. He's from the UK. He's going to show us how to adopt what he calls his persona method. He's going to go over some killer keywords which your competition probably doesn't know about, and find ways to sneak up nice little bits of traffic that are probably hidden from you right now that you don't know exists. So this is going to be a great presentation as well. Chase, of course, who is my co-host for White Hat versus Black Hat, who's a millennial, so he thinks getting bios to people on time and showing up for meetings on time is so last year / Gen X. That's why he's not here, I imagine. He's going to show up. A lot of people have asked, how do I become an SEO? How do I get clients? How do I just make myself an SEO, and how do I scale this? Chase is going to give you his complete rags to riches story, how he started a 6-figure consultancy and did it in under a year. So he's going to talk about that, and also all his local white hat techniques as well. All of his silo stuff, all of his skyscraper stuff, all the stuff he talks about, he's going to go over as well. Jed Hunt is he's actually a gray hat, but he's presenting for the Black Hat side this time. He's going to show you everything. He's going to show you how to do effective competitor analysis, how to break down your competitors' sites, and then how to set up your site structure better, your Black Hat link profiles better, and how to attack a niche with a money site and with your PBNs. So basically, he's going to show you how to rank essentially from A to Z. You know, so if you're wondering right now, how would a Black Hat do it, or how is another way to do it? How would I do it? This is how. Dan Petrovic is a great guy. I met him actually a few years ago in Poland when we were both presenting at a conference in Poland. He's probably Australia's best known search SEO. And so he's coming down, he's flying here all the way from Australia, and he's been showing us 2 different topics. His automated white hat content generation that he claims doesn't break any of Google's guidelines. And I was in the Hangout when he asked John Mueller, and John Mueller said, no, that's fine. So he's like, okay, great. So he claims he can make content and get links automatically in a white hat way. That would be really neat to see how he does it and what's going on there, and how it's different from like the way Chad or the way Chad is doing it. Maybe it's not as white hat as he thinks, or maybe it is. And then he's also going to show us how to do data-driven click-through rate optimization, how to get more clicks and boost your rankings, again in a white hat way. And then we have 2 special guests. We have Daryl Eves, who is a monster on YouTube. This guy has like a bazillion views. He is literally making, I'm not lying when I say this, he is making 10,000 a day using YouTube ads, views, and subscribers. He's going to show you how to do this for your business and how you can leverage YouTube for your business. It is going to be an amazing presentation. And last but not least, a world-class, a high-level spammer that Holly knows, Christopher Bottomley. He's going to be showing up, and he's going to be showing us not only how he manages 1,500 Facebook accounts daily, but also how he's making $10,000 a month in AdSense alone from Facebook traffic. So he's a high-level spammer. Holly is also going to be sharing a lot of, she's going to be jumping in on all the presentations and kind of giving you the Cole's notes of how you could do it. And so this presentation really between Holly and I, we're kind of like the hosts. We're going to be helping everybody with how you would manage all this stuff and how you would do it. And it's not just like it's more of like an educational event where we're going to be helping everybody and kind of trying to really help you develop your own game plan and moving forward. So I said I would do it fast. That's what we're covering at the conference. If you have any questions about that, email me. Fortunately, Clint can't make it. As much as Holly and I have been whining at Clint to show up, unfortunately, he has a family thing he has to do. But maybe next year, maybe Clint will come some other time. Okay, so thanks for joining, guys. Go ahead, join the Hangout if you want to ask questions afterwards. Now, as promised, I'm going to go through the John Mueller leaks that I saw recently that were just nuts. And I'm going to share my screen and go over those right now. If you have any questions about the conference, click on the link or email me, and we can talk about that later. I don't want to make this a whole sales advertorial thing for it. Okay, here's the other thing here, and I'm assuming you can see the Word document now, I'm hoping. So John Mueller had a hangout on June 26th, and it was with some people in the Czech Republic, some of the Czechoslovakian SEOs. Whenever he has a hangout with these guys, pay attention because really good stuff happens. The Czechs seem to have a very good way of asking him questions that put him on the spot, and he leaks a lot of information he normally doesn't. So I would seriously check out these hangouts if you can. This one was on June 26th. So he said this, and I found this fascinating, and Clint, I'd like to get your opinion on this too. He said, when Google says they're rolling out globally, he says often they just mean US and Canada. He fully admits that when Google says they're rolling out globally, actually that just means they've included Canada, and that's apparently global. And that kind of explains why it seems like algorithms like Penguin and Panda don't seem to run in other languages, or it seems to be much easier in other languages to spam Google. What do you think about that, Clint?
I think it's probably true because there's more competition in these markets. Everyone from all over the planet are trying to rank in these markets. Scams are higher levels in these markets. So I think he's probably right.
Yeah, I've noticed myself that I have clients all around the world. Most of them are from the States, but I have a good 20-30% of my clients are from Europe. And the rules are different for Europe, right? The Google is an English, they hire from all over the world, but they're still a Western biased company. They're an English biased company, and they don't always get the spam algorithms right in other languages. And so you might be seeing your competitors get away with more. You might even be able to get away with more in Europe. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be careful, but again, it does seem to be like a time warp, like 5 years behind the times. FYI, if you want to forward links or if you want to forward searchers without forward link juice, you would set a JS forward on a roboted out page, and Google will not see the forward. That's not a new piece of news. Everyone knows that, but he mentioned it again, so I thought I'd mention it. Here's an interesting one he talked about. He said, he fully admitted, and I quote, "There are machine learning algorithms trying to determine what websites have quality content and may accidentally determine something close to authorship." So this was very interesting. He said, and I quote, "There are machine learning algorithms trying to determine what websites have quality content." One. So he's basically admitting the user click based kind of Panda algorithm there. And then he says, by the way, because he was actually originally asked about authorship, and he said, that might accidentally determine something close to authorship. So this ties into a discussion that we had last week where I was debating with Ted, and I put on my tinfoil hat, and I was debating with Ted that quite possibly Google can be tracking your persona. Google can be tracking who you are. Google can, when they're filling out their entity database, they know who Josh Bachynski is. They know he's into martial arts. He has a YouTube channel. He has a TED Talk that they don't know I made a documentary. Not yet. They will as soon as I can get it out there. They know that he's an SEO. People look for my phone number. Google knows I'm an entity with all this stuff, and I'm sure Google knows about Clint Butler too. And Google knows about all of our entities and our websites, and they make this giant relational database. When I hear John Mueller say stuff, and Clint, you can disagree if you want. When I hear John Mueller say stuff like that, it sounds to me like my tinfoil hat theory is not so crazy, that they are looking at the SEO entity. They're looking at something close to authorship, who wrote what content, and how much of an expert they are at that content. Do you think that's crazy, or do you think they're not doing that?
No, I think they are. I think, remember back in the day when they were telling everyone to connect their Google Plus profiles to their pages, and then your smiling face would show up in the search results. That was an indicator that they're going to start, looking at and trying to tie you into certain topics. And to this day, they're still doing it. You Google Clint Butler, and there's a hockey player, there's me, and an actor. But if you look in the related searches, it says Clint Butler SEO. Yeah. Clint Butler hockey, Clint Butler actor. So obviously they're doing it.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, again, I find this very interesting. This direct admission from John Mueller. There's been so much evidence that not only are he definitely admitted here. I mean, this is a direct quote. Go to the Hangout yourself and see it. That they have machine learning algorithms trying to determine what websites have quality content. That's the first leak. And then, by the way, it may accidentally also determine something close to authorship. He says, again, this means they're watching all factors and making a profile of either spam or good, including the authorship, who made it, who goes there, and everything else. So I don't think my tinfoil theory is so crazy that they could be like, you're an SEO spammer. You're always talking about Black Hat SEO and spamming. They could very well look into that. Matt Cutts did mention something similar to me when I met with him. Imagine that was many years ago. That was a few years ago now, and he doesn't even work there anymore. But that could have been good information he was giving me. So if you're going to do some super spam, you might want to do it on private accounts and not connect it to all your other sites. There are rumors of Google hitting Black Hatters in the past who've pissed them off doing that stuff. And that was another major debate we had today that Clint and I had today on our search engine intelligence Skype group, where I won't rehash the entire debate, but basically the argument was, we have such great content in Search Intelligence Agency, and we have such woof, the dog agrees. Your dog agrees with me. No, I'm sure your dog would agree with you. We have such good content in Search Intelligence Agency, and TED's core software puts out such good information that we were kind of talking that our information is way better than Barry Schwartz's information, or quite frankly, any other SEO group's information out there, because we're actually doing single variable tests, one, and two, TED software does massive correlation studies on a specific niche. And we thought we could take over this whole niche of SEO news now that a lot of people are leaving it, and we could just provide our own blogs. Would be way better. And I said, hold on, guys, I don't think we want to do this, because if Google finds out how we're doing our single variable tests, it is entirely possible that they could start messing with our single variable tests, our test environment. Google has talked about doing those kinds of things. I wouldn't put it past the engineers to do that. And then the argument went from there that, Josh, you're being too much. That's too crazy. You're too much tinfoil hat, or Josh, maybe not, that kind of thing. So I don't know. You can go ahead, comment if you want, Clint, but that was the essence of our conversation.
Yeah, it was a good debate, I think, on it. And I don't know, I'm still the thing is, unless you're taking money out of Google's pocket, they're not going to go after you, and we're not doing that. We're keeping a community informed about things that other people are already talking about in one way or another. We're just proving or disproving those methods. So if Google doesn't like that, then they can pound sand. So.
Yeah, I mean, on one end, I would think they're not going to do that. Why would they bother? We're not that big a thorn in their side. And Gary Ilyish himself, who's another Google employee who works at the Zurich office, who's a webmaster trends analyst, just like John Mueller, he tweeted out that SEO experimentation is a good thing, and that's what you should be doing. But hey, Simon, sorry, I'm just going to mute you for a second here, bud. But I know the engineers, and I've talked with some people close to the engineers, and I've never talked directly to any of the engineers. Paul Haar was the closest I've been. See that evil thing? This is what I have to live with. So this is what I did to John. This is what I did to Matt Cutts. I'll be like Dr. Evil. Yeah, here's up there. So it's entirely possible that Google could start messing with our test environment. I don't know. I would just want to be careful. But okay, so let me get back to the John Mueller leaks here. All right, so he also said the Open Graph project is now done, and so they have no extra information on your titles. They have no secondary database about your titles and how to get your titles. And so he said that their auto title writing algorithm are not very good, and so you can see significant SEO and traffic increases by having good titles. That was a very important thing that he mentioned. So definitely look at your titles, have good titles. Definitely shoot the cat if it's annoying. I don't know. I'm sorry, honey, I won't shoot the cat. You could see, if you could see the camera right now, my wife is punching me in the face. He maintains that even improving your speed by 0.2 or 0.3 seconds will be better for the user and implies this will be better for SEO. I thought that was interesting. Here's an interesting one. He maintains the mobile first index will only spider the mobile version of the page, and that if you have content that on the desktop version, it will not be in their index. So again, I just have to mention, a lot of people already know this, but all information seems to indicate that they're only going to be spidering the mobile version when they switch the mobile first index, sometimes early in 2018.
If they switch to the mobile first index.
If they do. They keep warning they're going to. Yep. So it's kind of like, if you don't have to jump yet, just get ready to jump. Like get on the edge of the ledge, get ready to jump. You know, they're probably going to switch to a mobile first index. But when they do, they've always maintained and been clear that they were not going to crawl the desktop site at all. They're going to rank your desktop site on the mobile rankings the same way right now they're ranking your mobile site on the desktop rankings. So if you have like an m.mobile, you don't have the same links pointing to your domain, so that's one big problem. Two, if you've reduced content on your mobile because people don't want to read it, well, that's a tough problem because now they're not going to index that content and have it in the index anymore because they're not going to read your desktop content. So it's something to consider. If you want more help with that, by all means, email me. We can help you out.
Responsive web design, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, responsive web design should be enough.
It is 2017. You should, it's time to upgrade.
I would agree. Who's being the Google evangelist now? No, you're right. I would agree.
I'm just saying, I can't imagine the last time. I can't remember the last time I worked on a mobile version, like
yeah, well,
independent mobile version of a website.
This is true. I totally agree. But there are still some, especially big companies out there that don't. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. They might have an m dot whatever, and they're going to be hurting, and they're going to be squawking when Google makes that changeover, and we're going to see a big Barry Schwartz article about them, and it'll be the next big drama in the SEO industry.
Yep.
Okay, lastly on that date, in the same conversation, he strongly implied that conversions on forms and that have many input fields are an important ranking factor and will continue to be, especially on mobile. When the mobile first index rolls out and they're ranking sites based on mobile signals, even your desktop sites on those signals. So again, I would limit your form, like if it should be like email, go. That should be it. There shouldn't be email, name, address. If you can avoid it, don't make them fill in all that stuff, because the more they have to fill in, the less people do, right? And the more that's going to look like a broken search, the more it's going to look like a failed search, just because they got lazy and didn't want to fill in your form. So again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, contact me. I'll help you out with that. Okay, and then finally on June 27th, he had another hangout, which I found was very, very interesting. He did confirm that they do read the alt and title attributes. So if you don't know what this is, so if I make an anchor tag, href equals whatever, and then alt equals, this is what audible, this is what non-image browsers see. Actually, that would be on an image tag, wouldn't it? I got it wrong. That's the title. Title, this is what would show up. This shows up when you hover. But they also will, you could put keywords in there. And also in the image tag, image source would be whatever. You could put a title on the image tag too, or you could put an alt on the image tag. And then this is what shows up This is what shows when you have no images showing. So, but you can also put keywords in there. I mean, everybody should know this. You could put keywords in the alt and title attributes. The problem is that they count towards your keyword density. If they count towards your keyword density, as our experiments have shown, and I've shared on this podcast many times, if your keyword density is over double what the average is, you are going to get a ranking demotion. Kyle has tested this many times. I've tested this many times. So this is definitely something you don't want to do, is go over threshold. So there's nothing wrong with putting keywords. You definitely have to do it if you want to show up for image search. If you want to show up for image search, you definitely need to have keywords in the alt so that they know what the context is for the image. And he was even going further and saying that in mobile search, a lot of code doesn't bother having the alt tag set up. So you'd want to do that. The problem is that it adds to your keyword density. And so your keyword density, when you look at the content, might only be like 2%. The average keyword density is 1%. You think you're fine, you're golden. But if your alt attributes and your title attributes are just stuffed with variations of the keyword, that is a clear over optimization, and that's clear. John Mueller has clearly said not to do that. And that could very well put you over the threshold for having too high keyword density. So that would be my recommendation, not to do that. I just don't even bother filling it in unless I care about image search. And that way I can just deal with the text and have the right keyword density. This was very interesting. He also implied strongly that some speed factors are direct ranking factors. So I think that must be time to first byte is the only direct ranking factor, because it's the only one he didn't mention. He mentioned all the other factors such as paint time and everything else. And he clearly implied that was an indirect or an eventual ranking factor. And it was openly discussed and clearly implied that that was an indirect and eventual ranking factor based on user clicks. That was a conversation he had with Dawn, who just won her master's degree. Congratulations, Dawn, from the UK.
Big deal. I have 2 of them.
What's that, brother?
I said big deal. I have 2 of them.
Yeah, right. Big deal. Master's degree. Wah, wah. I have 1. You have 2. Everyone has a master's degree. No, everyone does have a master's degree, but okay. He also said that AMP does not. So here's the interesting thing. Gary Ilyish said and tweeted out that the only bonus to AMP was speed. And John Mueller directly disagreed with that on the Hangout, interestingly. He said that AMP does have ranking factors above and beyond speed. That was very interesting. He disagreed with Ilyish and saying it was just speed. Furthermore, John Mueller had a Hangout with the guy at Google who runs AMP, and they clearly said there would be a ranking boost for AMP, and they clearly and openly talked about the ranking, the obvious ranking boost for AMP, as much as John Mueller awkwardly tried to avoid that part of the conversation, because John Mueller knew he could get in trouble for them talking about those kinds of things. But the guy who makes AMP at Google, he's not public relations media trained. He works with the engineering team. He just obviously talked about the boost they were going to give people for AMP. So as much as I hate AMP politically and ethically, as much as I hate AMP, as much as you're giving Google your content, as much as it's handing over the web to Google to control, if they're going to give a ranking boost for it, and if it's going to be a big ranking boost, and if it's the only way you can get, or the best way you can get your speed down, you might want to look at it, but it's not the only way to get your speed down. Again, Clint already mentioned responsive design. If you know what you're doing, you can get your speed down. The problem is that so few web designers actually know what they're doing. And I get web designs made. Yeah, go to Clint, because I get web designs made by web designers who say it's going to be fast, and it's like the time to first byte is like 2 seconds, and then it takes another 2 or 3 seconds to render just the HTML to paint the page, and it's unusable until the 5th second, and you've lost like 10% of users by that point, or 15% of users, or something stupid. So again, as much as I politically and ethically hate it, you might want to consider going AMP, because John Mueller explained a bit that they cache your pages, you'll get faster ranking benefits. He did strongly imply there was another ranking benefit above and beyond just the speed, which is immediate. It renders everything above the fold, and you click on it, you tap it, you get it. So it's, I don't know.
I'd say if you have an informational site, then go for it. You know, what are you going to lose? It's an informational site. You'll maybe have the opportunity to have 1 or 2 ad blocks in there with the way they're improving AMP to allow AdSense to at least show now. But don't think you're going to build a list off of the AMP page whatsoever. So if you're doing AdSense and you're just passing out information, then go for it. Otherwise, go responsive and forget the rest of that noise.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay, and lastly but not leastly, he's reconfirmed that desktop sites will be ranked on mobile factors, but would not confirm that desktops would be penalized for poor mobile quality, for example. So this is a tricky little point. Whenever John Mueller is directly asked something and he refuses to answer and waffles on it and gives you some other answer, for me, that is a direct indication of yes, yes, this is going to be a ranking factor. And especially if it's a bad thing that he doesn't want people knowing. So in my opinion, I do think, and there has been previous leaks, we'll have to test it, of course. Everything is subject to testing. But in my opinion, until I see tests that say otherwise, I think that they are definitely going to be ranking desktop sites based on mobile quality. And if that's the case, a lot of sites are going to have trouble because a lot of sites' mobile experience is just not very good, and their quality score is not going to be very good either. Okay, so those are the John Mueller leaks I wanted to go through. Now let's go. We are joined here by Simon. Simon, I muted you. You can unmute yourself, and if you have an SEO question, by all means, ask it. Otherwise, if you guys have SEO questions, please ask them in the chat here, or join the Hangout. I put the URL for the Hangout in the chat. You can join, and come and see. Come ask us your SEO questions, and I can maybe even do some site clinic for you and take a look at your site and see what's going on. So, Simon, are you there? Do you want to unmute yourself?
I am.
Hi, Simon. So what's your question?
I just thought I'd join in since you were in the Skype group, so I just thought I'd pop along and in the SIA Skype group. So.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you're that Simon. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. So you just want to hang out and.
I was just hanging out. Yeah. Yeah. I just. No specific questions at the moment, other than that's interesting information about AMP. I've tried AMP on some of my sites and definitely seen a little bit of a boost in traffic for sure. They seem to really like the AMP pages, so that's definitely something. I've got a few clients that we could definitely be using that information on, so that's great. Thank you.
Did either of you guys notice today them remove the instant search options? Let's just see here.
No.
Apparently they did. Let me just see. I'll go to google.com. Okay, so here's google.com. I'll share the screen. Let's see if it's live in Canada yet. Okay, you guys see google.com. Let's do a search. Well, there you go. You see what I've been searching lately. Good thing there's nothing naughty there. So let's just search for I don't know, foobar. See, I still get auto suggestions.
I get it too.
So what were they talking about? And it immediately, I got, maybe the instant search is the load, like it instantly loaded when I typed in foobar. It instantly loaded before I was even done typing. I'll do it again. Let's search this time for hats. No, it's not doing it now. Hats for men.
Let me try. Hats for baseball hats. Baseball.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's turned off.
It's turned off for you?
Yeah.
You want to share your screen and show us?
It's showing doing the same thing yours did. I just tested a different way. So instead of just doing hats and then I fused the autofill and then I actually tried to get it to populate that way too, the old way it used to. So that's probably good. It probably saved them resources, which is why I don't think the mobile first index is going to come out. What I think is going to happen is they're going to scan and tell everyone we're going to do mobile first, and then they're going to say, all right, if your desktop site's not mobile friendly, it's a ranking factor, and we're not going to show you higher in either of these indexes that we have.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. They could run the tests and see that their search results are so crappy without the desktop signals that they can't afford to move over. That's entirely possible too. Let's go back to the screen here. Another thing I want to show you guys, a little tool I like to use is SERPworks. This is a fantastic tool. It plugs into Majestic, Moz. It would plug into Ahrefs. It should, yeah, good, because I'm logged in. And this is Hats for Men. It shows you how valuable the search query is according to Google AdWords, what the general volume is of search traffic. And then it'll tell you the keyword density too for Hats for Men. Apparently no one's typed it in, so that's a good sign that you could get on here. Even the keyword density is 0.04%.
There's one little flaw with SERPworks, and that's not entirely accurate, is that keyword density thing. And I talked to the owner about it, and he's got some crazy weird formula that really I don't understand. So,
yeah,
I just don't trust that.
Yeah, I talked to him about it too. I know it's not that far off. It has to do whether you calculate in the HTML, you calculate just the document object model.
Yeah.
Tom Mueller confirmed recently they only look at the document object model. They don't look at the HTML. Other than the title and alt attributes, apparently. So I know it's not perfect, but it's close enough just for a look.
Yeah.
And so if I was looking at this here, so if someone asked me, Josh, how hard is it to rank in this SERP? I would say, okay, well, I'd look at the PA. I'd look at the number of referring domains coming in, because referring domains and PA are the most important link factors in my opinion. I look at the keywords that they're ranking. I look at the traffic. And I'd go, and I look at the keyword density. And I'd go, okay, so the PA is 41. The referring domains coming in are close to 3,000. Amazon, so just ignore it. Lids, again, close to 4,000. It's not a sub page, though. It's the main page. So lids, 8,000 links coming in. Hats, the sub page. PA is 29. Only 900 referring domains. This is not so difficult, other than it's very well branded. Nordstrom, again, a main brand. Ignore it. You're not going to beat it. Buckle.com, a subpage, 5,000 sites. Hats in the Belfry, you could possibly beat it. Only 1,300. Only a PA of 21. Spam core of 232. So that means how many of these links are being ignored, in my opinion, like 10%, 20%. Overstock, many thousands. Don't even think about possibly beating that. This is ranking for 18,000, 200,000. So hard, not that easy, in my opinion. You would have to pick one of these things you think you're going to knock out. Because they've got 2 hats items here, that tells me that this is a high quality site. If they're going to put 2 options here, that means that some of these other ones must be low quality. There's some room maybe here to knock this one out. Maybe some room to knock.
That hat site would be hard to beat.
This one would be hard to beat because again they got high relevance and they're high quality. You know they're high quality. I mean, I can do a spot check here and see they got hats. You know, so that's what people want. They're going to have a good click-through rate. But my point is, I'll wait for everything to load here again. My point though is that whenever you see two results from the same site on a SERP, you know that they're very high quality, have a good quality score compared to all the other options because Google said so. Gary Ilya said, whenever you see this, you know that the other options are very low quality. So if somebody asked me how hard it would be to rank here, I would fire up, this is one of my tips that I would go over the conference. I would fire up SERPworks and I very quickly take a little look and guess, and I would agree with Clint. It wouldn't be too easy to rank here. Okay, let's see if there's any actually other questions here from folks. Let me see. I don't see any questions. You guys have no SEO questions? That's interesting. Okay, what should we discuss now? Clint, what's new? What's new in Black Hat SEO that you've seen?
Oh, there's one. There's a new question for you.
Oh, let's see. What is it? Josh, Clint, you guys SEO auditing any websites that use client-side rendering JavaScript frameworks? What implications have you seen? That's a good question, Liam. Do you want to join and ask that so I can ask you some questions? Because I'd have to ask you a whole bunch of questions to answer your question. If you guys want to join and ask SEO questions, I'll put the URL in the Hangout there. Like I would ask, I'm not entirely sure how client-side rendering JavaScript frameworks work. Is it Ajax? Is it doing a hashbang, a change of the URL, or is Google is it leaving the URL the same? Hey Gary, okay, ask it again because I couldn't find it. Hey, I asked a question. Good, ask it again. I can't see it. Yeah, so Liam, if you want to join, I'd have to ask you a bunch of questions about that. But yeah, it can. I mean, if you're changing the URL, Google doesn't like that. Google might have difficulty spidering the content if it's only processed through JavaScript. But quite frankly, I think that they're pretty good at it. Some people have done tests, and all the stuff that John Mueller said a couple of years ago they wouldn't be able to read, Google could easily read it. And now John Mueller says we'll probably be able to read it. You probably shouldn't have it in JavaScript. So in some off cases, they may not be able to read it. But so that's why I would avoid it if possible. But I mean, the easy test is render it through the JavaScript and then check in search. Check in search to see if you can read it, right? Highlight some text that only shows up after the render for the JavaScript and search it in Google and see if your site comes up. Okay, Steve Buchanan asks, have you ever heard of the site Backdoor Society, and is it legit? I have never heard of the site Backdoor Society. Clint, Simon, have you guys ever heard of the site Backdoor Society?
I have not either.
It sounds like a sneaky backdoor society to me. What is it about exactly? Okay, I don't know exactly what that's about. No, Stephen, I never heard of it. Join it and see what happens, and then come back and tell us. Blake says, I'm relatively new to SEO. How would you calculate keyword density? Keyword density can be calculated in many ways, but I think the best way to calculate it is take your title, your page, your title tag, and your page, and that renders on the page. Like just copy and paste everything on the web page, put it into Word, or get a tool, download the Moz bar, and it'll do it automatically for you. There's a lot of tools that'll do it for you. But basically, anything that renders in the document object model, that's the text you want to use, and then essentially it's just a percentage of those words compared to all the other words. So if I had 100 words and I said Josh once, the word Josh would have a 1% keyword density, right?
Yeah, SEO Book has a tool, Google that. I dropped a link inside the chat as well for that. You can do it different ways. You can use it, just throw your HTML in there, so you get all your title tags for your images and all that stuff all rolled in there, or you can just put your text in there like Josh says. That's what.
Boom. Boom. Answers. All right. Neil asks, why is this site not ranking for pet portraits? Find petportraits.co.uk. Okay. Let's check it out. All right. So this is what I would do. When someone asks me a question like this is not my audit process that I would do. But this is kind of my quick check that I would do to see how things are running. Okay, so I go, first off, I do a site :search. And it says, you don't exist.
That link's can't be correct.
Yeah.
Portraits.
Maybe it's this. Is it this? This is the one it's supposed to be? Looks like it. Okay. So, and then I keep on the SERP works, and I look on the side. Okay. So lately, this about results here, one thing, this used to be completely fabricated number, and Google would admit it. But lately, it's been the real number. So I think Google made a change here in how they calculate it. I'm not sure. I'm going to do a test on that in a second. But okay, I would check it out. I'd go, okay, look, find pit portraits, PA 46, referring domains 191. Keyword density, nothing, of course, because they don't say that anywhere. That's how that works. They're ranking for 21 keywords. All right. Then what I do is I turn this off. And before I turn that off, I would go here and put start equals 990. Ampersand start equals 990 is what I add here, just to see if there's any indexing issues. And there's no indexing issues, right? I go back to page 333, And it looks like it's about correct. There is about 364 results. So they've indexed about 364 pages. I see some author admin pages. This is not great. You would not want these to be indexed. I would see quick things like that, but these are all minor technical issues. Then I go, okay, remember he had, what was the back here? The PA was 46 and 191 referring domains. Google knows what it's about. Spam, a very low spam score, great. Okay, remember these factors here. I'll even take a screenshot to remember. Then I go to related and see if Google knows what you're about. Google, you're such a low entity in this case that Google doesn't even know what findportraits.co.uk is about. There's another way I could do it. I could go find pet portraits. And okay, so this comes up first. That's good. It should come up first. If your own entity doesn't come up first for your entity search, that's a problem, typically. But it doesn't give me any related things here either. Maybe if I did, I see you have an HTTPS. Okay, wait a minute. Did the HTTPS come up last time? Let me see. Is that what came up? If it didn't, that's a problem. Yes, the HTTPS came up last time. Okay, so that's fine. I can even do info to see what Google has spidered. If you do an info : query, that'll be exactly what Google has in the index. So that's fantastic. Now let's see if this works here. The related works here. Didn't. Okay, so all that means is you're not an important enough entity for Google to know what you're about. But that in itself is an SEO problem. They should know what you're about. So these are the quick things I would take a look and see what the problem is there. Then I would go through to the site. And I'm trying to make an educated guess as to what the quality of the site is. Is this what people want to see? I don't know. I see pet portraits. That looks pretty good. So what are we looking at here? Yeah, good. Okay. So, and I would go back here and I would go, okay, let's go to google.co.uk. Let's look for pet portraits. And then let's turn on SERPworks again. And let's remember what his stats were. His stats, again, were 191 referring domains. Okay, and so when we plug in my Ahrefs account, we got 374, 130, 19,000, 1,300, 90 in an exact match domain. 7,200, 3,500, 7. This is interesting. Why is this showing up here? When I see a very new site showing up there, they're either doing the new site honeymoon and just split testing it, or these other sites here, not Etsy or Pinterest, of course, but some of these other sites here are very low quality. And so Google's just throwing up anything that looks like it serves the semantic, only ranking for 95 keywords. Not a lot of monthly traffic. And again, only 5 links to this one here.
I can tell him right now, just looking at it. Without all of this. Look at his backlinks. Just click on his site and look at the anchor to cloud in the Ahrefs off of SERPworks.
For the target site?
Yeah. Like go to his site and then open SERPworks on the cloud.
So that's what Clint's talking about here. I could check the anchor cloud.
Yeah, there you go.
Ahrefs.
He's ranking #1 in the UK for find pet portraits, which is obvious because he's got the links for it for his brand. That's his brand, and now he's ranking #1. He's trying to rank for pet portraits, and he has those related terms in there, but look at the rest of his backlink anchor text. It's all garbage. So if you want to rank for pet portraits in the UK, you need to get pet portrait anchor text on good sites with good history themselves, and that's how you're going to rank for that term.
Yep. Yep, this is, I would concur entirely.
He
So
he did the awesome work. He's got a DR above 40. His DA is high. His trust flow is high. His site is set to rank. He just needs to tell Google what the hell he wants them to rank for, and you do that with your backlinks and your anchor text.
yeah, Google has made a change recently, well, not so recently, and since like 2010, that it's not going to rank you for pet portraits and fine pet portraits. Since Hummingbird actually is probably June 2013. Mm-hmm. If you are for fine pet portraits, that's different than pet portraits as far as they're concerned. So yeah, that's I would agree with Clint entirely. This is one of the main reasons why it's not ranking for that. It might have a slight quality issue. It not great. If you kept, I think now here's where Clint and I may disagree. If you kept building this anchor text out until you had, more, first, the number of backlinks is not as important as the referring domains. If you beefed up the referring domains with this anchor text, they may eventually start trying you for pet portraits if your quality score was high and everyone else's quality score was lower. In my opinion, I think that would occur. But if you want to target pet portraits, then you have to cut your nose to spite your face. You have to stop building on fine pet portraits and start just building on pet portraits. But again,
see, he did good there because, in my opinion, he's got the brand. That's what he did. He did good branding in his anchor text and his backlinks. Now what he needs to do is, since all of those are going to his homepage, he needs to make a page that's for pet portraits. And then send anchors to that. Because his DR and DA and trust flow is so high on his home site, that authority, I think, will help him carry on and make it a lot easier for him to rank a page specifically designed pet portraits. Unfortunately for him, he picked that it's a partial EMD, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful when he starts doing that kind of stuff. But I think he's set. Honestly, in my opinion, he's set to get some good rankings if he just focus his backlinks and his anchors and tell Google what you want to rank the specific page for.
And what keyword density would you go for the pet portraits page?
I'd probably do maybe 3 or 4 links at a time and watch it go. He doesn't even have to go crazy with it. You can do three links right off the bat, pet portraits, and then if he has to go to 5 links, throw one more branded name in there. Find pet portraits to the pet portraits page, and then if he's got to do another one, just kind of make it a partial match, like dog portraits. It's a pet, right? So, or my dog portraits, my dog pictures, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
and that'll carry it.
Yeah. I think
he's got no backlinks right now that say pet portraits, and if that's what he's trying to rank for, he's not going to rank for it.
Oh, definitely, and there is some very low competition competitors down here that you could probably beat out fairly easy. Mind you, you're not getting a lot of clicks down here at position 8 and 9, but
there's no reason that site shouldn't be number 6.
Yeah. Well, yeah, moving around Pinterest and Etsy.
Yeah, Pinterest is easy to knock out. Etsy might be a little bit harder depending on the seller if they're smart.
This one here.
Yeah.
This is the one he can knock out here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, make sure that page has a good keyword density. I'd go like 1% because I'm going to be competing with this one. No more than 1%. Don't go too crazy. You could beat this one too here, actually.
Yeah, he's got a partial EMD, so he's primed. It's just when you create that pet portraits page for this specific term, you have to be careful because you have that word already inside of your main domain. So it'll be findpetportraits.co.uk/pet portraits. That's getting a little close to over optimization. So
it is, yeah, that is getting close. That is getting. What if you called it portraits for your pet? What if you did partial match portraits for your pet, not HTML?
Yeah, that would work too because it's still inside of there, and just optimize the content for pet portraits.
Yeah, and the H1 says pet portraits. The title says pet portraits. And then you do 3 anchor text links at a time. Now, of course, where to get them is the question. You have to do that very, very carefully. There's some risks involved. Of course, Clint's a black hat, so risks are less. He's less risk averse than I am, but not to say he's reckless. But again, he did say you have to do it very carefully, 3 at a time, and just try to nudge it very carefully there. Yeah, that in a nutshell, that would be what I would say.
If you're going to do it the white hat way, I'd say go out and get 3 guest posts from people that are actually doing honest, real outreach. Brian Hong, look him up. He'll do it for you. They're $150 a link. It's not cheap to do a real guest posts, but 3 of those should do it, I would think, easily.
Yeah, 150 for just regular blogs. It can go all the way up to like 2, 3, 4,000 for like a newspaper link. Depends on how crazy you want to get. Of course, they say they're selling blogs and not links, but P.S. a link may be included. So is that really white hat? Is it black hat? Who knows? Who knows what's white hat and black hat these days? That's what I would say. Other than also doing an audit, a general audit, there could be some technical issues. There's some reasons why there were a little bit of ranking issues. I don't know why it's not showing up on related. It should show up on related. That tells me there might be a slight entity quality issue, but I think Clint nailed it, where it's mostly the links and how you've set up your SEO and how that's all working. You haven't optimized for pet portraits, so that's really why you're not ranking for pet portraits. All right, let's see what other questions we have here. See if we can handle one more question before we're done. Somebody asked, SEO 530 Limited asks, what's better, the H1 for exhaust extraction or exhaust extraction and fume filtering system sales? So that's the same kind of a question that we just dealt with. If you want to rank for exhaust extraction, your title and your H1 have to be exhaust extraction. You don't want it to be, they're not ranking they're not picking exact matches out of partial matches anymore. They're going for, Hummingbird is going for specificity. If you want Josh Bachynski martial arts, they'll give you my martial arts page. If you want Josh Bachynski SEO, they'll give you my SEO page. The specificity of the long tail matters. And so you do have to focus. So this is a funny little point that sometimes people get confused. You don't have to have 2 different pages for weird Xmas gifts and strange Christmas presents. You could, but that might be riding the spam line a bit. They're the same thing in Rank Brain, weird Xmas gifts and strange Christmas presents. But, so that could be 1 page. But if you wanted to do weird Xmas gifts for your Jewish friend who's coming to the party as a joke or whatever, that's a totally different topic. That's not just strange Christmas presents. That's strange Christmas presents for XYZ. That's a different page. That has to go on a different page. And that page should be contextually, semantically linked to your whole tree of weird Christmas presents, and then weird Christmas presents for my friends here, for my this, that, for this, that, blah, blah, for Secret Santa, whatever it is. And it's like a tree that you build internally in like the entire site tree, and that builds out the semantic index and tells Google how that builds out a silo structure and tells Google how your site is structured and how the hierarchy for it. At least that's the way I would do it. But you definitely have to split up. If you want to rank for XYZ, then it's about XYZ. If you want to rank for XYZ ABC, well, then that's a totally different topic. Just think, logically speaking, what's the same topic? Weird Christmas presents and strange Xmas gifts. That's the same topic. Okay, 1 page. And then you would pick the one that gets the most traffic. You pick the exact match that gets the most traffic, and hopefully Google will rank you for that. That may rank you for the other one. It's up to them. But if it's a different topic, then you need a different page for it. And it needs its own semantic latent index. It needs its own backlinks. If it's going to rank against competitors with backlinks, it might need it's going to need its own keyword density that's not too high, but in the threshold of being slightly higher. It needs an H1. It needs paragraphs. And it has to have quality. It has to be what the person wants to see when they go there. Don't put the products under a page of SEO text. Put the SEO text under the products if they want to see products, right? If you're lower in the sales funnel and they want to see products when they go to your page, that has to be the first thing they see, or your quality score is going to start suffering because of those things. At least that's my opinion. Clint, would you concur? Would you disagree?
That's just smart conversions. combined with SEO. So if you're selling something, then sell it. If you have to add extra content for SEO, then do it like you said, put it in the bottom, put it in an accordion, put it in a carousel, hide that shit. You don't want to confuse the person for what you want to do. If you want them to buy something, then make it so that they have to buy or leave.
Yeah, you could even put it on the left and put the products on the right, or vice versa, put the products in the middle, put some text on the left. That might not work as well because Google might see that as a sidebar, but you can put the text on the bottom and have the products first. And also in the mobile first index, if you hide it as well, they're still going to spider it and count it, so they claim. So they may not count it as much because it's hidden. So again, I would put the products at the top, and I put your best priced. It's like a retail store. You got to put your best priced products at the top. Don't put the products at the top that have such a high price they're going to go ooh, and they're going to go back. That is not going to be a good quality score. I see this all the time. People put their products up there and they have a crappy picture, and the price is way too high, and everything else is fine. The way they're presenting it is fine. The speed is fine. And they're like, well, why is our quality score so bad? Well, because your price is like 5 times your competitors, and you have a crappy picture. Think of it in a retail store. They're going to walk in. They're going to look at your pair of jeans. It's a $2,000 pair of jeans. Thanks, but no thanks. They're going to put it down very carefully, and they're going to back out of the store, right? A $2,000 pair of jeans. So price matters, and all the sales stuff matters. Okay, so with that, that's the end of my SEO Hangout, White Hat versus Black Hat SEO Hangout, free-for-all, free SEO site clinic thing. Clint, do you have any final words?
Someone asked for Brian Hong's guest posting thing. I'm going to drop the link in the chat for them. Keep in mind, it's not a website; it's a form. You fill it out, then he'll reach out to you and tell you how much you owe him.
There you go. Good stuff. So thanks everyone for joining. Thanks everyone for watching, for asking your questions. Tune in next week, and we'll be talking about more SEO stuff. And as I say, always, good luck in the SERPs. Wave bye, everybody.